Hello, dear friends, how are you? We, the humans, we are a superior species, and one of the very important reason is our communication. And amongst the humans, those who are better communicator, they are made to lead the rest of the people in the field of business, in the field of in the social circles, in the political circles, in the religious circles. It is the communication. The better skilled we are at the communication, the better place we get in a society, and the easier it becomes for us to be able to interact with other people in a better way. Communication matters and matters a lot, really. It is one of the finest skills we can ever learn. For that reason, I think that we should miss no opportunity at all to learn and to polish, to develop the communication skills. Today, we have made it a topic of our discussion about how to be good at, how to be skilled at the communication. Once we are talking about the communication, there are several forms of it. There is a verbal communication, whatever we communicate by using the words from our mouth. There is a written communication, whatever we communicate by using written words. There is a non-verbal communication. Neither we speak nor we write, but our body speaks. And all three of these types of communication, I think it is important for us to learn all three types of these communication. On the one hand, we are better able to communicate whatever we want to. On the other hand, we are better able to understand what somebody is trying to communicate to us. And those who are not good at communication, I shall say that maybe they are not good at interacting with the rest of the people. So let's begin from the verbal communications. Verbal communication, there are five important tips for the verbal communication. The first one is clear and concise language. The language should be clear on the one hand, concise on the other hand. Not so lengthy, not ambiguous at all. Avoid jargon and complex language, complex sentences. So that means the simpler you are, the better it is. The clearer you are, the better it is. The concise you are, the better it is. Clear and concise language is the number one. Number two is the active listening. It is the active listening. Pay attention, maintain eye contact. Pay attention, maintain eye contact, and ask clarifying questions. Paying attention, maintaining eye contact, and asking clarifying questions. So that is called active listening. We have to be active listener. The third is tone and pitch. Be aware of your tone and pitch to convey emotions and emphasis. Be aware of your tone and pitch to convey emotions and emphasis. The fourth tip about verbal communication is non interruptive. Be a non-interruptive. Allow others to finish speaking before responding. In this way, the other person will be satisfied that you have heard them well. On the other hand, you will be able to better understand them and better respond them as well. So that is be non-interruptive. The fifth and the last tip about the verbal communication is that ask open-ended questions. Encourage meaningful conversations with the open-ended questions. Encouraging the meaningful conversations with open-ended questions. What are these open-ended questions? It shouldn't be answered in the yes or no. Rather, there should be the meaningful conversation. Five important tips about the verbal communication. Number one is that clear and concise language. Number two is active listening. Number three is tone and pitch. Number four is non interruptive. Number five is open ended questions. Now, moving to the non-verbal communication, there are five important tips about the non-verbal communication. Number one is the body language, and maintain positive posture, facial expressions, and eye contact. So that is the number one thing. It is body language, maintain positive posture, facial expressions, and eye contact. Eye contact in a friendly manner. Do not stare anybody at all. Do not try to frighten the other person at all. Be very friendly or be very normal. And facial expression according to whatever you are listening or talking. If it is a matter of happiness, show happiness on your face. If it is a matter of sadness, then show the sadness on your face. If at all it does demand curiosity, and then try to show curiosity on your face, whatever it is. But it is the facial expressions which are important. Now we are talking about the body language out of the non-verbal communication. The second important tip is the proximity and the personal space. Proximity and the personal space. Respect others' personal space. Respecting the personal space of another person. Don't try to be too close to somebody while sitting or standing. Maintain a reasonable distance. And the second is that it is the respect others' personal space and adjust proximity accordingly. Proximity mean the kind of angle, the position you have taken, because there will be certain other people as well. So in that way, proximity and personal space are important. Respect others personal space and adjust proximity accordingly. So now the third important tip on the non-verbal communication, it is the touch and physical contact. The touch and the physical contact. Use appropriate physical contact such as handshakes and fist bumps, and then it is the high five, whatever is needed. At certain places, it is good to shake the hand and be a bit warm. At certain other places, it is not considered good to shake the hand. Stay away in that sort of situation. Now, at the certain places, if at all you are feeling comfortable with each other and there are certain points, you can do the high five or you can do the fist bumps. And at certain occasions, when there is a kind of affirmation or when there is a kind of happiness items, so that is touch and physical contact. Now the fourth and the last item on the body language, on the non-verbal communication, that is facial expressions and emotions. Be aware of your emotions and facial expressions to convey empathy and understanding. Facial expressions and emotions. So that is another very important, item in the non-verbal communication. We do have to show the appropriate emotions on our face while the talk proceeds. Now it is the four important points as for the non-verbal communication is: one is the body language, one is the proximity and personal space, the third is the touch and the physical contact, the fourth and the last is the facial expression and emotions. Now there is a written communication. Written communication, four important things to understand while we are talking about the written communication. Again, here it is: be clear and concise in your writing. Clarity and being concise in the writing, avoid ambiguity and ensure readability. Avoiding the ambiguity and ensuring the readability by clear and concise writing. Clarity on the one hand, clarity on the one hand, readability on the other hand. Now the second is proper formatting and structure. Use headings, use bullet points, and use paragraphs for the purpose of clarity. That is the second point in the proper in the proper formatting and structure. The third is tone and language. While writing, take care of your tone and language. Adjust tone and language according to the audience and according to the purpose. Adjusting of the tone and language according to the audience, according to the purpose. So that is the third point in the written communication. The fourth and the last point is that proofreading and editing. Review review written communication for errors and clarity. So that is the four points in the written communication are: number one is the clarity, number one is the clear and concise writing. Number two, it is the proper formatting and structure. Number three, it is the tone and language. Number four, it is the proofreading and the editing. Now, lastly, we are going to talk about the effective communication tips, which are only five in number. Certain other things to take care of, only five things in number. The first one is: be aware of cultural differences. Mean, there in a society like Pakistan and other very conservative societies, you do have to keep yourself, maintain a distance with the women. And in the Western cultures, you can shake hand and further according to the relationship. But in certain, it is not the only cultural difference. There are plenty of other. This is just for the sake of example. Be aware of the cultural differences, adjust communication style according to the cultural norms. So that is the number one thing. Number two is use I statements. Express thoughts and feelings using I statements to avoid the blame. Don't have to blame other people at all. Rather, we can express our thoughts and feelings by using the I statement. I felt like that. I was hurt. I was not feeling comfortable. Instead of using the you statement, you did that, you did that, you did that. So we do have to avoid the blame. Now, the third point is avoid assumptions. Avoiding assumptions. Clearly, that is clarify assumptions and ensure understanding. Clarification of the assumptions and ensuring understanding. Now, the fourth important tip about the effective communication is that practice mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness, it is be present and be focused during the communication, being present mentally and being focused during the communication. Now, the fifth and the last point is that seek feedback. Seeking feedback, it is encourage feedback to improve communication skills regularly. That is encouraging the feedback to improve the communication regularly. Let's have a very, very quick revision of all we have talked about: the verbal communication, the non-verbal communication, the written communication, the effective communication. all that in a very very short span of time. The first one is verbal communication and clear and concise language. Number one, as for the verbal communication is concerned, clear and concise language. Number two, active listening. Number three, tone and pitch. Number four, non-interruptive. Number five, open-ended questions. So that was the verbal communication. Now there is a non-verbal communication, and four important tips about all that. The first one is the body language. The second is the proximity and the personal space. The third is the touch and physical contact. Number four is facial expression and emotion. So that is the non-verbal communication. Now let's talk about the written communication. Number one, it is the clear and concise writing. Number two, it is the proper formatting and structure. Number three, it is the tone and language. Number four, it is the proofreading and editing. Now the next is the effective communication tips. These are only five in number. First one is be aware of cultural differences. And second is use I statements instead of blaming anybody. The third is avoid assumption, clarify assumption. The fourth is practice mindfulness, be present and be focused while communication. The fifth and the last is seeking feedback so that you could constantly improve your communication skills. Our today's talk was very important indeed for all the people who want to be the good communicator. And let me tell you that all the people who are actually good communicators, they people are destined to become the leader. They people are destined to become the managers. They people are destined to be more effective as for interacting with other people is concerned. I think that is a very useful and beneficial discussion of today. That is all from me today. Thank you very much.